Hey guys, here I am again revealing the secrets of my videos, and today I'm going to tell you how I made the chess pieces move in the video for Everybody Wants to Rule the World. But before we begin, I would like to say thank you to my patron Tiger, who not only requested the song but also inspired me to use the chess game in the video. She's working on a project that involves chess, and there is a link to the trailer in the description. Check it out.
Everybody wants to rule the world. There's a room where the light won't find you. Holding hands while the walls come tumbling down. When they do, I'll be right beside you. So glad we've almost made it. So sad we had to fade it. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Also, a couple of disclaimers. First of all, I'm not really good at chess. I know how the pieces move, and that's basically it. But I didn't want to just make some random moves in the video. So there are two sequences that can be played in a game of chess, at least theoretically. The first one is the Northern Gambit, and the second one is the endgame from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone movie. I'm not quite sure that they can actually appear in the same game, but who knows, maybe they can, and I couldn't have possibly shown you a full game of chess in one short video. Another thing is that I'm filming everything at home, and I don't have that much equipment here. I basically have the camera that I'm filming on right now and a couple of lights. I don't have a slider or a gimbal or a decent tripod even, and all of these things would have made the filming process so much more easy. Also, I edit everything in Premiere Pro, but I guess it would have been more convenient to do it in After Effects, but I'm just not very familiar with that software. So let's cut to the chase. So in this video, we basically have two types of shots with the chess. The first one is where the camera doesn't really move and the chess pieces move by themselves. Like this one. And another is where both the camera and the chess piece move. So the first one is pretty easy. It's basically the same technique that I used in my video for My Immortal and made the piano play by itself. We need a shot with all non-moving pieces. Here we have one white pawn, and there's supposed to be a black one here, but we don't see it because we will film it in another shot. So I basically just attached a wire to the pawn so I could move it. And now we will cover this wire with the first shot. We basically just mask it out and don't give it too much feathering, so there won't be like a ghost wire in the shot. But because of this small feather, there might be some issues with the shadows in the overall view. So I duplicated the non-moving shot and gave it another mask, but with much bigger feather. So now the shadows just smoothly disappear somewhere here. Another trick for these types of shots is when one piece takes another. Here the black pawn takes the white one. And to make this white pawn disappear, we now need 3 shots. So first of all, we have the shot with the moving pawn, but without the one that is going to be taken. Then we have the empty shot, but without the black pawn and without the white that is going to be taken. And then we have the shot with all the non-moving pieces, including that white pawn. And we're just going to mask it out and then make the opacity decrease from 100% to 0 when the black pawn moves in. The second type of shot is a little bit more tricky. As you can see, the pawn moves with the camera, and it is actually what is going on here. I basically took a long piece of transparent film and attached one end to the pawn and the other one to the camera. And so when I dragged the camera, the pawn moved with it. But then, of course, I needed to cover this area where you can see this piece of tape. And I also made another shot without the pawn, just moving the camera in the same direction. The problem here for me was that, as I mentioned, I don't have a slider, and a slider with a controller would have been really, really nice for this type of shot, because then I had to reframe and remap the time for this shot so it would fit the shot with the pawn in it. So I made the opacity about like 40% and looked for the moments where this square is aligned on both layers. Then I nested this piece because Premiere doesn't handle some time remapping effects that well. I also added some directional blur because I knew that I'm going to speed up these moments and to make the shot more realistic because the blur matches the movement. And that is basically what you get. There is also another way to relatively easily remove this transparent tape, and I used it for this shot. If you look closely, you can actually see that there is something in front of the bishop here, but because I made it so much faster, you can't actually notice it. So originally it looks like this. It's quite a bit slower than in the actual video because I was trying to make it as stable as possible. And I tried to also film the empty shot with the same movement, but it was much harder to match. So I decided to try and just hide this tape. First of all, I made it a little bit darker to hide the reflection just a little bit better. Then I used Dust and Scratches Premiere Pro plugin to hide the edges of the film and some of the reflection in it. Then I added some Gaussian blur, so it also adds kind of a depth of fields. And I also added some directional blur here too. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I also would like to remind you that Alexandrite 1-year anniversary merch is now available in our online shop, and it will be there only till September the 4th. Each print is handcrafted by me personally for you, so don't miss your chance to get it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.